Alright. Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry we didn't make a video last weekend. We were both taking the JLPT, which is the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. We'll just call it JLPT because it's a lot easier from here on out. But yeah, so we're gonna just do a quick talk about that because it was our first time both taking the test.
So what is the JLPT? It's a Japanese test that measures your knowledge of the Japanese language, and Japanese companies use it when they want to hire an employee from abroad. That way they can see, you know, their skills are on this scale, you know, N1 or N2 or something like that. Yeah. And it ranges from N1, the most difficult, to N5, the easiest.
Yes, and this is really, her example was for Japanese companies in Japan. The way it works, like in America, since there's no real Japanese environment, that test is more used to see if you really do know the language versus like, you know, I kind of know the language,
yeah,
you
like
know.
When you say on your resume, I speak French, but you haven't used it in years or something like that. Yeah.
So they really, it's more useful in the States in the sense of getting a job almost in any kind of environment, but in Japan it's almost like just to get a job or to get into school, you know, you need this.
It's necessary.
You need it, you know, so.
Yeah. And we have a friend that works for a Japanese company in America. I'm sure that they wanted some Japanese, but they were kind of okay with like a lower level. And they encouraged her to take the JLPT. Like they wanted to see some like dedication too. And so yeah, if you're a Japanese company, they might, maybe you already know about this. They kind of like encourage you to take it. Yeah,
the N3 and Lorena took the N5. So we'll start with Lorena.
Oh, I'll go first. Okay. So if you saw the video about studying Japanese, I used the Genki book, and I really recommend it. It's a really good book. And for the test has 3 sections. It has vocabulary, grammar, and language, and listening. Yeah, so 3 sections. And I used the Genki book, and I studied all the way up until lesson 7. And that was, I think, a good amount. But then I got to the kanji part, the part with all the kanji. And I thought that I could have studied a little bit more. I saw some kanji that I'd seen before, but I didn't know what they meant. And then when I checked my Genki book, I would have learned them in lesson 8. So I recommend if you're using the Genki book, study up until lesson 8 at least. But otherwise, I kind of felt really good about it. So if you study up until lesson 7, I think you should be fine. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. So that's good. So we had the kanji or kanji grammar and vocabulary and listening. Which one was like the most difficult or easiest for you?
Most difficult or easiest?
Either one, yeah.
The easiest one was the listening test, which was surprising, but it kind of felt like the listening test was like a step lower than the actual level of the test. So like he took N3, I think he probably felt that the listening test was like more N4. And I felt that if there was an N6, my listening test was like N6. Yeah. Like it just felt easy. Yeah. And then I guess I was okay with the grammar. The vocabulary, I really wish I'd studied more, like a little bit more.
More what in vocabulary?
More kanji and vocabulary.
More kanji.
Yeah.
More kanji and vocabulary, or do you mean like vocabulary, like more verbs or adjectives, or what do you mean?
More like just general like nouns.
Okay.
Like there was they asked for the kanji for train, I remember, and that's a very regular word. I know the word for it in Japanese, but I didn't know the kanji. I just couldn't remember. And so there's just simple things like that I really wish I had studied a little bit harder on. Just kind of strayed maybe from the book and tried to like learn some everyday like kanji or even just like the hiragana for words like that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Going back a little bit to listening, because I did feel like the N3 was super easy and she felt it was very easy. This is our first time taking the test, of course, but since she just started studying Japanese, you know, it all really started when she's living in Japan. So maybe living in Japan for about a year or so really gave us a good ear to listen for, or like a good ear to listen to what to listen for. Yes. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It could have been that, or it could have just been very easy. Like for JLPT level 3, the very first question was, you're at a restaurant and the lady asks, you know, how many people? And the answers were, I'm a customer, 3 people, or the 3rd floor, you know. Like, I think
that's things that you know. You should know,
super easy.
Things that I already knew, like I would have been able to answer that question, and I'm 2 full levels behind N3.
So it's something I feel like if you were in college, you might have learned it in Japanese 101, but it's coming out in Japanese JLPT level 3 and 3. So just the listening, just really very strange because everything felt difficult or challenging, and then the listening was just like a cakewalk.
Yeah, maybe it's because listening in general is kind of harder to train, whether you're in Japan or you're in a foreign country. So kanji and grammar and those kind of things you can study and train, but listening, I mean, even if you do the listening activities in the book, it's still kind of harder to train. Maybe that's why they make it a little easier.
Can be. I don't know, but like, your ear for listening is just natural native Japanese level speed, right? So when you listen to the test, did it feel slow to you? Like, it did
feel slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was only, I told him before, there's only one question that I wish they'd played again. Oh, by the way, they only play it one time. So listen carefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt like a very easy, steady pace. Okay. And so, yeah, listening wasn't so bad.
Alright, so I guess I'll just do some quick overview for N3. I'm assuming if you've taken N3 or you're looking to take N3, you might know some of this stuff. The kanji was difficult, but I wouldn't say what was difficult is maybe not knowing the characters. It was, for me, is they'll give you the kanji and you have to fill it in with the correct hiragana, but there'll be a long vowel, like an extra u, like for Tokyo it's to, u, kyo, right?
Yeah. So you think in English it's like Tokyo.
Yeah.
But in Japanese it's
there's
actually
a hidden u right there, you know?
Tokyo.
So I'm always second guessing myself, like, is there that extra vowel or is there not an extra vowel,
sure,
you know?
Yeah.
So they really try to trick you, I think, for the kanji. So maybe you don't even need to know how to write it because it's all just circle bubble, you know?
Just need to know which one is right.
Yeah, you just need to know which hiragana is correct, you know? Maybe a nice way to test yourself is maybe get on a computer and type the words out, and if you get the kanji to come up, then you typed it right.
That's true. If you turn on your Japanese keyboard, you actually, if you've ever typed on Japanese keyboard, you type it out phonetically, like, for example,
oki.
Yeah.
Like,
for big.
Kanji,
yeah. You type it out phonetically, and then it'll bring up the hiragana or the kanji.
Yeah.
And so
this is a nice way to maybe practice that. The grammar and reading, there were pretty long passages for us, and there'll be like 3 blanks within the passage, and then you just have to like choose the correct grammar point to fit into that passage, and then like another question could be like a general overview. What was the main topic of this passage or something? So
yeah,
it's pretty self-explanatory for that one, I think.
Yeah. N5 also had some passages, probably not as long as N3, but we definitely had some passages. So you want to be able to read, and I would say, since the test is timed, like all tests are, practice reading like fast, like catching the characters fast. I know I had trouble with that at first, you know, reading like ka, ki, ku, and like so slowly, like isn't gonna cut it.
Yeah.
Even for N5.
Yep. And listening, we both already talked about it. One thing I will say though that I did not see coming is that they played a little jingle just like to give you a little break during the test. Like they didn't do any kind of little jingle or intermission for the other 2 sections, you know. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. But yeah, that was pretty much the test. It took about 4.5 hours for me, and I think for you it was like
about as much. I started at 12:30 and we finished at 4.
Yeah,
so I didn't finish. I
didn't finish till 4:45.
Yeah, so yours was longer and 3 was longer, which makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. So now that's about it for the N4, N3, and N5. We're just going to give you a general overview about how it felt for us to take the test in Japan now.
Yeah. Oh, and I will post in the description links to the flashcards that I use on Quizlet, so you can study kanji, and also like a small list of the grammar points that I think were useful for me when I took the test. So you kind of know what to study. And so yeah, the general overview.
Yeah, so this is for us taking the test in Japan because we haven't taken it in the States or anywhere else. First off, bring a watch. It's crazy like how important the watch that I took for me was very useful for me, you know.
Yeah.
There was no watches in my room at all, no clocks at all. Lorena.
Yeah, there was a clock in my room, but they covered it, and I don't know why they covered it. I don't know why. So yeah, unless you're like the kind of person that you can kind of gauge time, you know, like in your head, you probably don't need a watch, but you want to pace yourself, so you need a watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the very first, when we started off, it felt like my test instructors, I guess you could say, kind of like rushed us, like hurry up, like we like, it was their fault because they handed out the test a little too slow and they were double checking our faces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the very first part, the section of the test, it felt like we were being rushed, like, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
So without the watch, I know I wouldn't have finished all my answers for that part.
Yeah.
A next one will be, of course, just to arrive early. I showed up like 30 minutes beforehand, which is, I would say, barely on time, because I have to walk to go to the place just to find out where it is. So I didn't even get to eat lunch. I didn't eat at all that day because I showed up right on time.
Yeah. I left really early because I went to Saitama University, which is kind of a big university, and it's too far of a walk from the station, so it was like train, and then you have to take a bus, and so it was just kind of a process. But thankfully, there were actually JLPT people there waiting with like signs like N5 this way, so it was really convenient. But yeah, leave early. You don't want to be late.
Yeah, so follow the signs. We didn't really have signs at my place. If they did, they were like small ones, and maybe I just didn't see them. But really, I just followed the mass crowd of people walking in, you know. And I had a sheet that they mail out to us, like where's your test at and how to kind of get to the spot. So I just kind of looked at that and followed the crowds, and I got there really easily.
Next, you get breaks in between sections. We said there are 3 sections and you get a half-an-hour break. Don't be late in between the sections. They let you go out. You can go get water and like snacks and things like that. When I was taking it, there was one person that was late by like 10 minutes for their second section, and they didn't let him come back in. So you don't want to, you know, take part of the test and then miss the other part. So just be very wary and very careful.
You don't want to miss it just because you have to pay for the test, and it was like $50 or 5,000 yen, somewhere in that neighborhood, you know.
Yeah.
So if you miss a section, you pretty much just threw money away, you know, and transportation money to get there away. So don't be late. Also, during those little breaks, you're allowed to turn your phone back on. So they make you turn off your phone, like power it all off, not even silent or vibrate. It's just power off, turn it off. And then during the breaks, you can, of course, turn it on. That's what we did. And we would talk like, how's your test going, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can turn it on, but
don't forget to turn it back off.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty serious. You could probably get kicked out for it.
Probably,
so, bring pencils. I didn't have any pencils. I had to buy some because I only use pens here. But you need HB pencils or number 2.
Yeah, I've never heard of HB, so just the letter H and the letter B as in boy, HB pencil, you know.
Yeah. And then that's it, I guess. You can take the test in Japan 2 times, in July and in December. In America, it's only in December, I think.
Yeah, so I think we're really lucky and fortunate about that because, you know...
If we fail, we can take it again in a couple months.
Yeah, it'll be your first time, it'll be our second time, so...
Yeah. So, I hope this encourages you to take the test.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as I thought it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was going to be like 4 hours of like non-stop tests,
Yeah.
even though I knew there was going to be breaks. It really, during the test, the day really flew by really fast, like...
It was easy, I thought, like, compared to if you've ever taken like the SATs, the GRE, the LSATs, all that stuff, like those are like, I feel like they're stressful tests, you know, like very rigorous.
I don't know if it's because like we know the language, like for the SATs and stuff like that, that they just jam you with a whole bunch of questions. You can read really fast because it's your language, you know.
That's true.
But for Japanese, it's just like at a good pace, but like challenging still.
Yeah, but it didn't feel so bad.
Yeah.
So if you're studying Japanese, I say take the tests because it kind of like is a goal that you can work for, and you know you can kind of gauge where you're at. You know, you can see like what you need to study more. And if you pass it, it's like a good like reward. Like congratulations, you've been studying and it's paid off. Yeah,
and I've noticed in her like before taking the test, she was kind of getting like burnt out of studying Japanese, and after taking the test, it kind of like relit. So like she was ready to study the day of the test was over, like I need to go back and study some more. And I'm like, you just took the test for 4 hours, you can relax, you know.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys get some tips or ideas or maybe some motivation, you know, out of this. Do you have anything else?
Yes. We have to talk about what we're doing this summer vacation.
Oh yes. If you did watch our last video, we gave tips about going abroad or visiting places, you know.
Yeah, but we didn't really say where we were going.
Yeah, unless you were really listening, you heard about one spot. But yeah, we'll be going to Kyoto. We already got some advice from one person, which was really useful.
Yes, thank you for the advice. It was really nice.
Another place we're going to go to is...
We're going to Osaka too, which is near Kyoto.
Yeah, we're going to Osaka. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going abroad. We are going to Korea.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Seoul. We really don't know anything about Korea. We don't speak the language or anything like that. So if you have any ideas or tips about
anything, because we nothing
yeah, we don't even know like popular locations or anything like that.
So we're pretty thrilled. So yeah, if you have any anything at all, please post it in the comments below. Anything to help us.
Yeah.
So and keep watching because we'll be posting videos when we start traveling. We'll be traveling the first week of August, so we'll be posting videos about everything that we see. If you have any requests for videos while we're traveling, please let us know so we can prepare for that.
Yeah. So thanks again for watching, and if you do have any tips about JLPT and that you want to share, do that. If you have any questions regarding JLPT, ask that. Or if you want to give advice about traveling for us, post that also.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.